Maria Broaddus purchased their dream home in 2014. There they plan to settle down for good with their 3 small children. But only 3 days after closing, a letter arrived. The couple was shocked as they read the note signed by the watcher. The letter read, "My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched it in the 1960s. It is now my time. Why are you here? I will find out." A short time later, another letter arrived. "Have they found what is in the walls yet? In time they will. I'm pleased to know your names now and the name of the young blood you have brought to me. Will the young bloods play in the basement? Who has the bedrooms facing the street? It will help me to know who is in which bedroom. Then I can plan better. Who am I? I am the watcher and have been in control of 657 Boulevard for the better part of 2 decades now." Derek and Maria brought in an FBI profiler who analyzed the letters and determined from the handwriting that the watcher was likely an older person. The couple sent the letters in for DNA testing. The tests found that a woman's DNA was on one envelope, but police could never identify a suspect. The couple filed suit against the former owners, alleging that the couple had received a similar letter but never disclosed it. The lawsuit alleged that had the couple known of the watcher, they wouldn't have purchased the home. Once the lawsuit was filed, the letters stopped. But after a 2.5-year break, the watcher wrote again, this time with even more sinister threats. The 4th and most recent letter is currently in the possession of the couple's attorney, who made the court aware of it in a recently filed brief. The lawsuit against the former owners is still ongoing, as the court prepares to address whether threats against an owner is a material fact that needs to be disclosed to homebuyers. So, as it seems, until the court rules on this issue, the watcher remains in control of 657 Boulevard.
All right, kind of messed up, right? So this case, as Ann mentioned, is ongoing. As we film this right now, it is currently in litigation. No indication on when it's going to be wrapped up. Highly doubtful that a settlement is going to happen. They're about 1.5 years into litigation right now, and given the nature of the facts, I don't suspect that the buyers are going to settle on this. I think they're going to want to move forward and really get a firm judgment awarded based on the merits of their case, which I would love to see, because I would love to see a precedent come up on something as unique as this. You know, for a long time, real estate classes have always talked about disclosing haunted houses, and even from time to time, topics of death have come up in a house. But, you know, what about something as removed from the house itself, something that happened in the house, to now something that's going on outside the house, but the house is the subject? It's a really fascinating idea. So what do you think? Knowing what you know now, seeing how Reed v. King looked at material facts being a loss in value, seeing as the California court or the Pennsylvania court said, no, we are going to not go down that road. It's not a material fact. Given what you know and all of the considerations we've talked about to this point, is something like the watcher a material fact that needs to be disclosed? So this case, as it moves forward, even though the watcher has nothing to do with death in a property or haunted houses, it's going to be argued under the same arguments, because stigmatized property is stigmatized property. Whether it is death or haunted house or HIV or whatever else the state law allows to be deemed as stigmatized property, now we're dealing with something that really opens up a whole new world of arguments, because it's happening outside the property. It's happening where, you know, we're really trying to figure out, is this a prank or is it not? The legitimacy of the threat, the legitimacy of the letters. So this is really going to be an interesting case to watch, because it's going to be argued under the prism of death, but in the context of something happening outside of the house. So if we look at the Reed v. King case, and we use the construct that it will be deemed a material fact if it affects home value. Would this instance of the watcher affect the home's value, do you think? That's a great question, right? Because again, if we really look at what's going on, there is nothing happening in or to the house. The house is just fine. It has no bad history. The only one problem that is even remotely on radar is the fact that someone outside of the house is now writing letters to the people living in it. Does that constitute a decline in value? Now, a lot of people are going to just jump right on and say, well, yes, because, it's threats of physical safety. Well, let me give you the rest of the story. Currently, the home is being rented, and the renter was disclosed about the watcher and didn't care. Moved in, gets letters, just actually got a fourth letter, and doesn't care. In fact, when the authors of NewJersey.com, a little online magazine, went to go interview him, he was so almost put out about it that he had to spend his time even talking about it, that they made mention of that in the article. Just wanted to do a short article or a short interview, and just said, no, it doesn't bother me. It is what it is, don't care. So there are people like that are going to treat the situation like that, and to them it's not a material fact. So what is it? Is it a material fact or is it not? How do we determine which this is going to be? So this case is going to illustrate for us that what we traditionally think of as stigmatized properties doesn't always fall within the square boundaries of death, haunted houses, and other things like that. Anything that is going to create a problem in the home that is going to then create some reputation or some notoriety within the local community, something that is going to affect the homeowner psychologically, that is the stigmatized property. So in this case, we see this new outside source coming in, making a stigmatized property, right? That's a psychological defect impairing the owners in enjoying the property, but doesn't need to be disclosed. I guess we'll see. Hopefully they don't settle and we actually get an answer to that question. So let's move on to the next one.